I thought I knew my wife, thought our 5 years together meant something real. But the night I heard her whisper, "You promised this would never come out," into her phone, everything I believed shattered like glass. The DNA test confirmed what my gut already knew. The child wasn't mine, and the affair started before we even said, "I do." Her family's $1 million party was supposed to celebrate their perfect bloodline, their pristine legacy. Instead, I walked to the front, placed a white envelope on the table in front of 200 guests, and watched their world crumble in real time. What happened next? Let's just say silence cuts deeper than any words ever could. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me where you're watching from, because this story about betrayal, dignity, and the quiet power of walking away is one you won't forget. The invitation sat on my passenger seat like a coiled snake, white cardstock, gold lettering, Evelyn's perfect handwriting announcing her family's annual summer celebration. I didn't need to open it. I already knew what it said. I'd been to 4 of these parties before. Each one felt like walking through a museum where I was the exhibit nobody wanted to see. I pulled into the parking garage beneath our building, our penthouse. Her penthouse, really. The Harrington name was on the deed, the mortgage papers, everything. I just lived there, like expensive furniture that happened to breathe. The elevator rose smoothly, 23 floors of polished steel and silence. I caught my reflection in the mirrored walls, dark skin, work clothes, tired eyes, 32 years old, and I looked older lately. Love will do that to you. Real love. The kind where you give everything and hope it's enough. The doors opened directly into our foyer. "Marcus." Evelyn's voice drifted from the kitchen. "That you?" "Yeah." I walked through rooms that cost more than my childhood home. White marble, floor-to-ceiling windows, art I didn't understand, but nodded at when her friends visited. The whole place felt like a hotel, beautiful and cold. Evelyn stood by the island, phone in hand, looking like she'd stepped out of a magazine. Blonde hair pulled back, white silk blouse, pearl earrings that probably cost more than my truck payment. She smiled when she saw me, but it didn't reach her eyes. It never did anymore. "How was work?" She set her phone down. Face down, always face down lately. "Same." Fixed Mrs. Chen's disposal, replaced some lighting in the third-floor hallway. "That's nice." She turned back to her laptop. "I have the Berkshire closing tomorrow. Late dinner?" "Sure." I grabbed a water from the fridge, watched her scroll through emails. Her fingers moved fast, efficient. Everything about Evelyn was efficient, including how she loved me, quick, neat, always with an exit strategy. "Your father called," I said. Her shoulders tensed, just a little. What did Oliver want? Oliver, never dad, never father, just Oliver, like he was some business associate she barely tolerated. Left a message. Something about the party. Wants to make sure we're coming. Of course we're coming. She closed her laptop. Finally looked at me. It's important to him, right? I drank my water, watched her watch me. Something moved behind her eyes. Guilt, maybe, or calculation. With Evelyn, it was hard to tell anymore. "I'm going to shower," I said. "Okay." I walked past her, close enough to smell her perfume. Expensive, French, a gift from someone, though I couldn't remember who. She had so many gifts, so many friends, so many people in her life who looked like her, talked like her, came from her world. I was the exception, the experiment, the thing she tried once and couldn't quite figure out how to undo. The water ran hot. I stood under it and let it burn. Tomorrow I'd go to work, fix things, help people, smile at Lena when she made jokes about the tenants, come home, repeat. This was my life now. Small, quiet, safe. Except it wasn't safe anymore. Because 3 nights ago, I'd heard Evelyn on the phone. Morning came with pale light through our bedroom curtains. Evelyn was already up, dressed, perfect. She moved through her routine like choreography. Makeup, hair, jewelry, each piece placed with precision. "Coffee's ready," she said without turning around. "Thanks." I pulled on my work clothes, jeans, company shirt, steel-toed boots. Evelyn glanced at me in the mirror. Her reflection frowned. "You're working the Jefferson Building today?" "Yeah." "Why?" "Nina mentioned she saw you there last week. Said you looked tired." Nina, her younger sister, the only member of the Harrington family who'd ever spoken to me like I was human. "I'm fine." "You work too hard." She turned, adjusting her blazer. "You could do something else. I've told you, I know people. Property management, real estate development, something with better hours. I like what I do, but I like what I do, Evelyn." She pressed her lips together. We'd had this conversation before, many times. She wanted me in a suit, behind a desk, somewhere she could explain me to her friends without flinching. Building maintenance supervisor didn't fit the story she wanted to tell. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it fast, read the screen. Her face shifted, something like panic, smoothed over quick. "I have to go." She kissed my cheek, professional, brief. "See you tonight." "Yeah." She was gone before I could say more. Her perfume hung in the air. I stood in our bedroom, listening to the silence. Then I grabbed my keys and left too. The Jefferson Building was one of the older properties in my rotation, 12 stories, mostly small businesses, a few residential units on top. I knew every pipe, every wire, every quirk in the system. This building felt real, solid, honest in a way my life with Evelyn wasn't. Lena found me in the basement checking the boiler. "Morning, Marcus." "Morning." She set down her toolbox. Lena was in her mid-30s, dark-skinned like me, with laugh lines around her eyes and no patience for nonsense. We'd worked together for 6 years. She knew me better than most. "You look rough," she said. "Gee, thanks." "I'm serious. You sleeping?" "Some." "Liar." I turned back to the boiler. Lena didn't move. I could feel her staring at the back of my head. "Marcus?" "What? You want to talk about it?" "Nothing to talk about." "Okay." She paused. "But if there was something to talk about, you know I'm here, right?" I looked at her. Lena's eyes were soft, concerned, the way friends look at you when they know you're drowning but don't know how to throw you a rope. "I know," I said. "Thanks." She nodded and got to work. We spent the morning in comfortable silence, fixing things that broke, maintaining systems that kept the building running. Simple problems, clear solutions. I wished my marriage worked like plumbing. Around noon, Lena's phone rang. She stepped away to answer. When she came back, her face was different, careful. "That was my cousin," she said slowly. "She works at that French place downtown, Bisque." I waited. "She said she saw your wife there. Few weeks back. Lunch meeting." My hand stilled on the pipe wrench. "Said she was with some guy. White guy. Suit. They were—" Lena trailed off. "They looked close, Marcus. Real close." The basement suddenly felt smaller, darker. The boiler hummed, indifferent to the way my world was tilting. "You sure it was her?" I asked. My voice sounded far away. "My cousin knows Evelyn, seen her picture on your phone enough times." Lena touched my arm. "I'm sorry. Maybe it was nothing. Business lunch or whatever." "Yeah," I said. "Maybe." But I knew it wasn't nothing. Because 3 nights ago, I'd heard Evelyn on the phone, voice sharp with anger, whispering words that cut through walls. "You promised this would never come out." That evening, we had dinner at her parents' house. The Harrington estate sat behind iron gates in the old money part of town. Manicured lawns, stone columns, a driveway that cost more than my entire childhood neighborhood. I parked my truck next to Evelyn's Mercedes and felt exactly like what I was, a visitor in a world that would never accept me. Oliver Harrington opened the door himself, tall, silver hair, smile that never touched his eyes. Marcus, he shook my hand, firm grip. Message received. Good to see you. You too, sir. Please, Oliver. He said it like he was doing me a favor. Come in. We're just opening wine. The house smelled like money, old wood, expensive candles, privilege that went back generations. Evelyn's mother, Catherine, waited in the dining room, thin, blonde, cold as January. Marcus, she offered her cheek. I kissed it, felt her flinch, tiny, practiced, something she'd probably been doing since Evelyn brought me home 5 years ago. Nina was there, too, Evelyn's sister, 27, and still figuring out how to be herself in a family that had already decided who she should be. She smiled at me, real, warm. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Nina. How's work? Good. You? Same. Dad's got me analyzing acquisition targets. She rolled her eyes. Living the dream. Oliver cleared his throat. Shall we? Dinner was lamb, roasted vegetables, wine I couldn't pronounce. Conversation moved like a chess game. Careful, strategic, every word calculated. The summer party's next week, Catherine said. Everything's arranged. The Ashfords are coming, the Beaumonts, everyone who matters. Everyone who matters. I took a sip of water. It'll be lovely, Evelyn said. Marcus is looking forward to it. 4 pairs of eyes turned to me. Can't wait, I said. Oliver smiled. We're pleased you're coming. Family's important. Bloodlines, heritage, the things that bind us together through generations. He was looking at something behind me. I turned, saw the photos on the mantle. Harrington family portraits going back decades. Blonde hair, blue eyes, old money bloodlines. And then I saw the newer photo. Evelyn holding a child, her nephew supposedly, Oliver's grandson through some distant cousin no one talked about much. Oliver was still staring at that picture. Bloodlines, he repeated softly. Can't fake those. Evelyn's fork clattered against her plate. More wine, anyone? Nina said quickly. The moment passed. Conversation shifted, but something in Oliver's words hung in the air like smoke. I looked at Evelyn. She wouldn't meet my eyes. We left an hour later, drove home in silence. Evelyn stared out the window. I watched the road and thought about bloodlines, about children, about secrets people keep. At home, Evelyn went straight to the bedroom. I stayed in the living room looking at the city lights through floor-to-ceiling windows. 23 floors up. Far from where I started. Far from who I was. My phone buzzed. Text from Lena. You okay? I typed back, yeah. Thanks for today. Anytime. Mean it. I set down my phone, listened to water running in the bathroom, Evelyn getting ready for bed, our routine, separate, polite, careful not to touch too much. Later, when she was asleep, I went to my office, small room, desk, computer, place where I handled bills and paperwork and pretended I had some control over my life. I opened my laptop, searched, found what I was looking for within minutes. DNA testing. Private. Confidential. Results in 3 days. My hands hovered over the keyboard. I thought about Lena's cousin, about the man in the restaurant, about Evelyn whispering angrily on the phone, about Oliver staring at that child's picture while talking about bloodlines. I thought about love, real love, the kind I'd given freely for 5 years, and I thought about dignity, about truth, about what happens when you stop lying to yourself. I clicked order. The test kit would arrive in 2 days. I closed the laptop, sat in the dark, and waited for my world to end. The package arrived on a Tuesday. Small box, plain brown, no markings that would give away what was inside. I signed for it while Evelyn was showing properties across town. Her calendar was always full. Meetings, closings, lunches with clients whose names I recognized from newspapers. Or maybe not clients. Maybe something else. I set the box on my desk, stared at it. This was the line. Once I crossed it, there was no going back. No pretending. No more comfortable lies. My phone rang. Evelyn. Hey, I said. Hi. Listen, I'm going to be late tonight. The Berkshire deal is dragging. Might be 9 or 10 before I'm home. Okay. There's leftover chicken in the fridge. Or order something. I will. Silence on the line. Then, Marcus? Yeah? Are you. She paused. Are you happy? The question caught me off guard. I looked at the box on my desk, thought about all the ways I could answer. Why do you ask? I don't know. You've seemed distant lately. Distant. Like I was the one pulling away. Like I was the one hiding phone calls and secret lunches and years of lies. I'm fine, I said. Okay. Good. Relief in her voice. I'll see you tonight. Yeah? She hung up. I sat there holding my phone, wondering when we'd stopped being real with each other, or if we'd ever been real at all. I opened the box. The kit was simple, sterile, clinical. Instructions printed in small black text. Swab the inside of your cheek, seal it, send it back, wait for truth. I thought about the child in that photo. Oliver's grandson, someone's son, maybe mine, probably not mine. I thought about timing, about math, about the way Evelyn had been so careful after we got married. No children yet, she'd said. Not until we're ready. Not until the business is stable. Not until. Not until. Not until. But there was already a child, and Oliver looked at him like he saw something wrong, something that didn't fit the precious bloodlines he kept talking about. I grabbed the swab, did what the instructions said, sealed it, put it back in the box with the prepaid envelope. My hands were steady. My heart wasn't. That evening, I dropped it in a mailbox 3 blocks from our building, watched it disappear into the slot, felt something break inside my chest. 3 days. That's what the website said. 3 days for results. I walked home slowly, took the stairs instead of the elevator. 23 floors. By the time I reached our door, my legs burned and my lungs ached, and I felt more alive than I had in months. Evelyn was already home when I walked in. There you are, she said. I thought you'd be here. Went for a walk. Oh, she studied me. You never go for walks. Maybe I should start. Something flickered across her face. Suspicion? Fear? It was gone too fast to tell. I ordered Thai, she said. Should be here soon. Great. We ate in the living room. She talked about her day. I nodded in the right places, made appropriate sounds. We were good at this. Performance, marriage as theater. My phone buzzed during dinner. Email notification. I glanced at it. Your DNA test results will be ready soon. We'll notify you when they're available. Work? Evelyn asked. Yeah, just a schedule update. She went back to her food. I set down my phone. 3 days, maybe less. Then I'd know. Then everything would change. The next morning, I woke before dawn. Couldn't sleep, hadn't slept well in days. I got up quietly, careful not to wake Evelyn, dressed in the dark, left while the city was still sleeping. Work was good for this. Work was simple, tangible. You fixed things or you didn't. No gray areas, no wondering if you were being lied to. I was replacing light fixtures in the Jefferson Building's 3rd floor hallway when my phone buzzed. Email. Subject line. Your results are ready. My heart stopped. Too soon. It was supposed to be 3 days. This was only 2. But maybe they worked faster. Maybe I couldn't open it. Not here. Not in a fluorescent lit hallway while standing on a ladder. I finished the fixture, climbed down, walked to my truck in the parking garage, sat in the driver's seat, stared at my phone. This was it. The truth I'd been avoiding. The truth I'd known in my gut but hadn't wanted to face. I opened the email, read the results, felt the world tilt sideways. Probability of paternity? 0% not mine. The child wasn't mine, which meant everything else I'd suspected was true. The affair, the lies, the years of pretending. I sat in my truck and tried to breathe. The child wasn't mine. But when had the affair started? Before we married? During? Had our entire relationship been built on lies? I scrolled down, read more. The test included estimated timing based on the child's age. Someone had listed the birth date in the optional information section. 4 years ago, we'd been married for 3 years. The affair started before our wedding, maybe before our engagement. Maybe I'd never really had her at all. My phone rang. Evelyn. I stared at her name on the screen. Let it go to voicemail. She called again. I turned off my phone. I sat there for an hour, maybe more, lost track of time. Eventually, Lena knocked on my window. Marcus, you okay? I rolled down the window. Yeah. Liar. She opened the door. Get out, come on. I got out. She steered me toward the building, sat me down in the break room, put coffee in my hands. Talk, she said. Can't. Marcus, I can't, Lena, not yet. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, but when you can, I'm here. I know. She left me alone. I drank the coffee, tasted nothing, felt nothing except the weight of truth pressing down on my chest. Eventually, I went back to work, finished my route, fixed everything that needed fixing. Came home after dark. Evelyn was waiting. Where were you? She demanded. I called 12 times. Working. Your phone was off. Battery died. Marcus, you can't just disappear like that. I was worried. I looked at her, really looked at her, saw past the perfect hair and expensive clothes, saw the fear underneath. She knew something was wrong, could feel the shift. I'm here now, I said. Are you? Her voice cracked. Because lately it feels like you're somewhere else, like you've already left. The irony burned. She was the one who'd left, years ago, with someone else, in secret, while I stayed loyal like a fool. I'm tired, I said. Long day. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Marcus. Tomorrow, Evelyn. I walked past her, went to the guest room, locked the door, sat on the bed and stared at the wall until sunrise. The next day, Evelyn was gone when I woke up. I found a note on the kitchen counter. Had an early meeting. We'll talk tonight. I love you. I love you. 3 words she threw around like spare change. Easy, meaningless, worth nothing when they came after years of lies. I made coffee, opened my laptop, printed the DNA results, all of them, every page, every detail, every piece of evidence that proved what I'd known in my gut. Then I found an envelope. Plain. White. Put the papers inside. Sealed it. I held it in my hands. This envelope held the truth, the ending, the moment everything she'd built would crumble. The question was what to do with it. I could confront her privately, scream, cry, demand answers, watch her try to explain the unexplainable. That's what most people would do. That's what she probably expected. But I didn't want to give her that. I didn't want a private moment where she could control the narrative, manage my emotions, manipulate the story into something she could spin. I wanted something else. I wanted her to feel what I felt, exposed, humiliated, stripped of control. My phone buzzed. Text from Evelyn. Reminder. Family celebrations Saturday, 7 p.m. Please wear the navy suit. The family celebration. The annual Harrington summer party. 200 guests. Old money, new money, everyone who mattered in her world, everyone who'd ever looked at me like I was less than, like I was lucky to breathe the same air. I stared at that text for a long time. Then I knew exactly what to do. Saturday came fast. I spent the days between planning, thinking, making sure every detail was right. This wasn't about anger, it was about truth, about dignity, about making sure everyone who'd ever doubted me saw exactly what their golden girl really was. Evelyn noticed something was different. "You're being weird," she said Friday night. "How so?" "I don't know, quiet, distant." She touched my arm. "Are you nervous about tomorrow, the party?" "No. Because if you are, it's okay. I know my family can be intense." Intense. That was one word for it. Racist was another. Elitist. Cruel. But Evelyn never used those words. Never. Admitted what her family really was. "I'm fine," I said. "Looking forward to it, actually." She smiled, relieved. "Good. It means a lot that you're coming. To me. To them." Lies. Every word. But I smiled back, played my part. One more day of pretending. Saturday evening, I put on the navy suit, white shirt, tie, polished shoes, looked at myself in the mirror. I looked good, successful, like someone who belonged in the Harrington world. But I never belonged. That was the whole point. Evelyn looked beautiful. Ivory dress, diamonds at her throat, hair perfect. She was radiant, happy, excited. She had no idea what was coming. "Ready?" she asked. "Ready." We drove to her parents' estate. The grounds were transformed. White tents, string lights, catering staff in formal wear. 200 guests milling around. Champagne, laughter, money celebrating itself. Oliver greeted us at the entrance. There they are, the happy couple. "Hi, Daddy." Evelyn kissed his cheek. "Marcus." Oliver shook my hand, held it a beat too long, stared into my eyes like he was measuring me. "Glad you could make it." "Wouldn't miss it." Inside, everyone was someone. Business titans, political players, society wives. They all knew each other. Spoke in code. Belonged to clubs I'd never join. And they all looked at me the same way. Curious. Confused. Wondering what I was doing here. Evelyn introduced me around. "This is my husband, Marcus." Husband. The word that should have meant everything. That meant nothing when backed by lies. People smiled, shook my hand, asked what I did. Their eyes glazed over when I said maintenance supervisor. They moved on quickly, found more interesting people to talk to. An hour into the party, Oliver tapped his glass. The crowd quieted. "Thank you all for coming," he said. "Family and friends, the people who matter most. We gather every summer to celebrate not just our successes, but our legacy, our bloodlines, our heritage." There was that word again, bloodlines. "And speaking of family," Oliver continued, "I want to acknowledge my beautiful daughter Evelyn and her husband Marcus." Applause. Polite. Tepid. "Evelyn, you've made us so proud. Your business, your grace, your commitment to maintaining the standards this family represents." More applause. Evelyn beamed. "Marcus," Oliver said, looking at me now, "we're grateful to have you here. You've brought a different perspective to our family." Different perspective. Translation. "You're black, you're poor, you're not one of us, but we're too polite to say it." "Perhaps Marcus would like to say a few words," Oliver said suddenly. "Share his thoughts on family, on marriage, on the importance of truth." He held out the microphone. The crowd waited. Evelyn's smile faltered. Just slightly. She sensed something. I walked to the front, took the microphone, stood before 200 people who'd never really seen me. Time to make them look. "Thank you, Oliver," I said. My voice was steady, calm. "I appreciate the invitation, the hospitality, the 5 years I've spent trying to belong in this world." Uncomfortable silence. "I'm not going to make a speech," I continued. "I'm just going to leave something for my wife." I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out the white envelope, held it up so everyone could see. "Evelyn," I said, looking at her directly, This is yours. I walked to where she stood, placed the envelope on the table in front of her. Our eyes met. I saw confusion, then recognition, then fear. Read it when you're ready, I said quietly. Or don't. Doesn't matter anymore. I handed the microphone back to Oliver, turned, walked toward the exit. Marcus? Evelyn's voice behind me, sharp, panicked. Marcus, wait. I didn't wait. I walked through the crowd, through the tent, down the driveway, got in my truck and drove away. Behind me, the party dissolved into whispers, questions. Evelyn's voice rising, someone opening. The envelope. Gasps, shock. I didn't look back. I drove through the city, past our building, kept going, found a small motel on the edge of town, paid cash, got a room with clean sheets and a window that looked at nothing special. I lay on the bed, turned off my phone, closed my eyes, and for the first time in years, I felt free. Morning came through thin curtains. I woke up in a room that wasn't mine, cheap carpet, basic furniture, air conditioner humming in the corner. It was perfect, simple, honest. I turned on my phone. 63 missed calls, 47 text messages, 12 voicemails, all from Evelyn, some from Nina, 2 from Oliver, even one from Catherine, which had never happened before. I didn't read any of them, didn't listen, just saw the numbers climbing and felt nothing except relief. I showered, put on the same clothes from yesterday, went to a diner down the street, ordered coffee and eggs, and sat by the window watching traffic pass. Normal people, doing normal things, going to work, running errands, living lives that didn't require DNA tests and public exposures. My phone buzzed. Text from Lena. I don't know what happened, but I'm here if you need me. I texted back. Thanks. I'm okay. You at home? No. Good. Take some time. Call me if you need anything. I finished my breakfast, paid, walked outside into the morning sun, felt it warm on my face. Everything looked different now, clearer, like I'd been living underwater and finally surfaced. My phone rang. Evelyn, I watched it ring. Let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. On the 5th call, I answered. What? Marcus. Her voice was ragged, broken. Where are you? Doesn't matter. Yes, it does. We need to talk. I need to explain. There's nothing to explain. The DNA test explained everything. Silence. Then, please, just come home. Let me home? I laughed, no humor in it. That was never my home, Evelyn. It was yours. I just lived there. That's not fair. Fair? My voice stayed calm, quiet. That was the thing about real anger. It didn't need volume. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about the 4-year-old child who isn't mine. Let's talk about the affair that started before we got married. Let's talk about 5 years of lies. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She was crying now. I could hear it. Part of me wanted to care. The part that had loved her. That still loved her, maybe. Love didn't just disappear overnight, but dignity mattered more. Where are you? She asked again. I'll be in touch about next steps. Marcus, please. I hung up. My hands were shaking. I sat on a bench outside the diner. Breathed deep, in and out, steady. A text came through. Nina. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. None of us knew. Evelyn's a mess. Mom and Dad are furious. Can we talk? Nina. The only decent one. I texted back. Not your fault. Take care of yourself. She responded immediately. What you did took courage. Everyone's talking about it. The DNA results, the timing, they all know now. Good. Let them know. Let them see their perfect Harrington daughter for what she really was. Another text from Nina. For what it's worth, I always liked you. You deserved better. Thanks. I put my phone away, started walking. No destination, just movement. The city stretched out around me. Buildings, people, life happening everywhere. I thought about what came next. Divorce, obviously, lawyers, paperwork, division of assets. Except we didn't really have shared assets. Everything was hers: the penthouse, the accounts, even my truck was in her name. A gift, she'd said. So, you don't have to worry about payments. Control disguised as generosity. I'd walked away with nothing except my dignity. And somehow, that felt like everything. I found an apartment that afternoon. Small, one bedroom, third floor of an old building near my work route. Hardwood floors that creaked, windows that overlooked the street, neighbors I could hear through thin walls. It was perfect. The landlord was an older black woman named Mrs. Davis. She looked me up and down when I asked about the place. "You running from something?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am." "Police? Drugs? Violence?" "No, ma'am, just a bad marriage." She studied me longer, then nodded. "First and last month. No pets. Rent's due on the first. You seem like good people. Don't prove me wrong." "I won't." I moved in with what I could carry: some clothes, my laptop, basic necessities. Everything else could stay in that penthouse. I didn't want it, didn't need reminders. That evening, I sat on the floor of my empty apartment. No furniture yet, no TV, just me and my thoughts and the sound of the city outside. My phone rang. Evelyn again. This time, I answered. "What?" "I need to see you." Her voice was different, not crying anymore, harder, desperate. "We need to talk face to face." "No, we don't." "Yes, we do. You don't understand. There are things you don't know." "I know enough." "It was my family," she said quickly. "The pressure, the expectations. You don't know what it's like growing up Harrington. Everything has to be perfect, every choice scrutinized. I couldn't." "So you cheated?" "It wasn't like that." "Then explain it. Make it make sense." Silence, long and heavy. When she spoke again, her voice was small, defeated. "I can't." "There it is." I stood up, walked to the window, watched cars pass below. "You can't explain it because there's no explanation. You made choices. You lied. You let me believe something that wasn't real." "I loved you." "No." My voice was firm. "You loved the idea of me, the rebellion, the way it felt to shock your family. But you never loved me enough to be honest, never loved me enough to choose me for real." "That's not true, isn't it? Because when it mattered, when you got pregnant, when you had to decide, you hid it, lied about the father, probably told him to stay away. And you let me walk around your family's parties while they made jokes about bloodlines and heritage, while your father stared at that child like he knew something was wrong." She was crying again, full sobs now. Part of me softened, the part that remembered loving her, the part that remembered better days, but I couldn't go back there. "I'm filing for divorce," I said. "My lawyer will contact yours." "I don't want a divorce." "I don't care what you want anymore, Evelyn." "Marcus, please, let me fix this. I can fix this." "You can't fix 5 years of lies." I hung up, blocked her number, stood at the window until the sun went down and the city lit up with artificial light. Monday morning, I went back to work. Lena was waiting in the Jefferson Building lobby. "Hey," she said carefully. "Hey, you okay?" "Getting there," she nodded, didn't push. We walked to the basement together, checked systems, fixed what needed fixing, fell into the comfortable rhythm of work. Around 10, she spoke again. "My cousin called, said the whole city's talking about what happened at the Harrington party." "Yeah?" "Said you walked in, dropped some truth, and walked out like a boss." She smiled slightly. "People are impressed." "Wasn't trying to impress anyone." "I know. That's why it worked." She handed me a wrench. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Takes strength to walk away like that." "Thanks, Lena." We worked in silence for a while. Then she asked, "You need anything? Place to stay? Money? I got you." "I'm good. Found an apartment. Small, but it works. Good. She paused. And the divorce? Called a lawyer this morning. Meeting tomorrow. You need someone to go with you? I looked at her. Lena's face was open, concerned. Real friendship with no agenda. The kind I'd been missing for 5 years. I'm okay, I said, but thank you. Any time, Marcus. I mean that. The day passed. Work was good, steady, real. No pretending, no performance, just fixing things and moving forward. That evening, I went to my new apartment, bought a mattress, some basic furniture, made the place feel less empty. Mrs. Davis knocked around 7. Brought you some dinner, she said, holding a covered dish. Figured you might not have much yet. The smell hit me. Home cooking. Real food made by someone who cared. Thank you, I said. You didn't have to. I know, but I did anyway. You look like you need it. I took the dish. She turned to leave, then stopped. My husband left me years ago, she said quietly. Different situation, but same hurt. Took me a long time to realize leaving was the brave thing. Staying would have killed me slow. How long until it stopped hurting? She smiled, sad but wise. Still hurts sometimes, but less and different. The kind of hurt that reminds you you're alive, not the kind that makes you wish you weren't. She patted my arm and left. I ate her food, pot roast, hot, vegetables, cornbread, and felt more at home than I had in years. By Wednesday, the news had spread everywhere. Not headlines, not gossip magazines, just whispers through the social circles that mattered. The country club, the charity boards, the exclusive restaurants and private events. Everyone knew what Evelyn had done. Everyone knew what I'd done. Nina texted, Caleb's distancing himself. Won't return Evelyn's calls. Typical. Caleb, the affair partner, the white finance executive who was probably everything Oliver wanted for his daughter. Someone appropriate, someone who fit, until it all fell apart. I didn't respond to Nina's text, didn't care about Caleb or what he was doing. He was Evelyn's problem now. Thursday, my lawyer called. She wants to meet, he said, face to face, says she won't sign anything until she talks to you. Tell her no. Marcus, it might help move things along. I said no. All right, I'll let her attorney know. Friday evening, I was leaving work when I saw her. Evelyn stood by my truck in the parking garage. She looked different, smaller, hair pulled back messy, no makeup, jeans and a sweater, nothing designer, nothing polished. She looked human. I know you don't want to talk, she said as I approached, but I'm not leaving until you hear me out. How'd you find me? I know your work schedule. I was your wife, Marcus. I know things. I stopped a few feet away, kept my distance. Say what you need to say. It started before we got married. She spoke fast, rushing. Like if she slowed down, she'd lose courage. Caleb and I, we worked together. One night turned into more. I got pregnant. I panicked. So you lied? Yes, because I knew if I told the truth, it was over. With you, with my family, everything. And that's supposed to make it better? No. She wrapped her arms around herself. It doesn't make it better. Nothing makes it better. But you need to understand the pressure. My father, his expectations, the Harrington name, everything had to be perfect. I was never going to be perfect enough for them. I know. Tears now, real ones. And I was a coward. I should have chosen you, should have been honest, should have stood up to them, but I didn't, and I've destroyed everything. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved, this woman I'd given everything to. She was broken now, exposed, facing consequences she'd spent years avoiding. Part of me wanted to forgive her, wanted to reach out, hold her, tell her it would be okay. But it wouldn't be okay, and forgiveness wasn't the same as forgetting. I hope you figure it out, I said quietly. I hope you find whatever you're looking for, but I can't be part of it anymore. Marcus, I'm done, Evelyn. We're done. I walked past her, got in my truck, drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing there, alone in an empty parking garage, watching me leave. For real this time, forever. 3 months later, I woke, up in my apartment to the sound of rain. Soft, steady, the kind that makes the world feel clean. I lay in bed listening to it hit the windows. No rush, no schedule, just Saturday morning stretching out ahead of me. My phone buzzed. Text from Lena. Coffee later? Sure. Usual place? Yeah. 10 a.m. I got up, made coffee in the small kitchen, sat by the window watching the rain. My apartment had filled out over the months, furniture, books, pictures on the walls. Nothing expensive, nothing pretending to be more than it was. It felt like mine. The divorce was almost final. Lawyers had handled everything. Evelyn hadn't fought me on anything, hadn't asked for reconciliation after that day in the parking garage. Just signed papers and stayed silent. Nina texted sometimes. Updates I didn't ask for but read anyway. Mom and Dad barely speak to Evelyn anymore. She moved out of the penthouse. Caleb married someone else, someone from his world. Evelyn's selling the business, starting over, somewhere else. I never responded. What was there to say? I hoped she found peace, found truth, found whatever she'd been running from all those years. But it wasn't my problem anymore. At 9:30, I drove to the coffee shop. Small place, local, the kind where baristas knew your order and didn't try to sell you something you didn't need. Lena was already there. Hey, she said. Hey. We sat by the window, drank coffee, talked about work, Mrs. Davis's new cat, the weather, normal things, easy things. You look good, Lena said after a while. Better than I've seen you in years. I feel good. Yeah? Yeah. I meant it. Lighter, like I've been carrying something heavy and finally put it down. That's what truth does, she smiled. Sets you free. Cheesy? True, though. I laughed, real laughter, the kind I'd forgotten how to make. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, then saw the text. This is Nina. I know you probably don't want to hear from us, but I thought you should know. Evelyn's leaving the city, moving to Portland. Fresh start. She wanted me to tell you she's sorry for everything. She knows sorry doesn't fix it, but she needed you to know. I stared at the message. Portland, far away, new city, new life. Maybe that was good for her. Maybe distance from the Harrington name and all its weight would help her figure out who she really was. I typed back, tell her I hope she finds what she's looking for, and thank you for reaching out. Take care of yourself, Nina. She responded immediately. You too, Marcus. You deserved better. I hope you know that. I set down my phone. Everything okay? Lena asked. Yeah, just closing a chapter. The ex? Moving away, starting over. Lena nodded, sipped her coffee. You ever think about starting over? I am starting over. I mean with someone new. I looked out the window, watched people walk by in the rain, couples sharing umbrellas, friends laughing, life happening, everywhere. Maybe someday, I said. Not yet, still figuring out who I am without her. Fair enough. Lena paused. But when you're ready, there's a whole world of people who'd be lucky to know you. Real you. Not some version you had to perform. Thanks, Lena. Just facts. We finished our coffee, talked about nothing important, made plans to catch a game next week. Normal friendship, the kind built on truth and time. When I left, the rain had stopped, sun breaking through clouds, that particular light that makes everything look new. I drove through the city, past the building where Evelyn and I had lived, past the Harrington estate, past all the places that used to matter. I didn't feel angry anymore, didn't feel sad, just felt finished. Some stories don't end with closure, don't end with grand gestures or final confrontations. They just end, quiet, complete, both people moving on to whatever comes next. That evening, I met Mrs. Davis on the front steps. Evening. Marcus? Evening? You look peaceful. She studied me. Good kind of peaceful. Feel it too. That's growth. That's healing. She smiled. You did good walking away. Not everyone has that strength. Didn't feel strong at the time. Never does. But look at you now. Living your truth. That's the strongest thing there is. I nodded, sat down next to her. We watched the street together. Cars passing, kids playing, life being ordinary and beautiful. You ever regret it? I asked. Leaving your husband? Every day for the first year. She was quiet a moment. Then one morning I woke up and didn't think about him first thing. Thought about what I wanted for breakfast instead. Knew then I'd be okay. How long's it been? 15 years. You ever find someone else? Dated some, nothing serious, but I found myself, found peace, found out I was enough all by myself. She looked at me. That's what you're learning now. You're enough, Marcus. Always were. Just took losing her to see it. Yeah, I said softly. I think you're right. We sat until the sun set, until the streetlights came on, until it was just another Saturday evening in a city full of people finding their way. Months turned into seasons. Fall came, leaves changing, air getting cold. I bought a used couch from a thrift store, hung curtains Mrs. Davis helped me pick out, made the apartment feel less temporary. Work was steady. Good. I got promoted to senior supervisor. More responsibility, better pay, nothing dramatic, just recognition for doing my job well. Lena threw me a small party, her apartment, pizza and beer, a few coworkers. Mrs. Davis brought a cake, simple celebration, real people who cared. Speech, Lena demanded, no speeches. Come on, say something. I looked around the room, faces smiling at me, people who knew me, who saw me, who never asked me to be anything except myself. Thank you, I said, for being here, for being real, for showing me what friendship actually looks like. That's it? Lena laughed. That's it. Fair enough. We ate cake, told stories, laughed until my stomach hurt. I went home that night feeling full, not from food, from connection, from belonging somewhere true. Winter came. I started running in the mornings, just a few miles, nothing crazy, but it felt good, moving, breathing, being present in my own body. One cold December morning, my phone rang while I was stretching. Nina. Hey, I said. Hey, Marcus. Hope I'm not bothering you. You're fine. What's up? Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. I'm good. Really good, actually. I'm glad. She paused. Evelyn asks about you sometimes. I don't tell her much. Just that you're okay. That's fine. She's different now, quieter, working as a realtor in Portland. Nothing fancy. She's in therapy, trying to figure herself out. That's good. I hope it helps. Do you... Nina hesitated. Do you hate her? I thought about it. Really thought. Felt around inside myself for anger, resentment, hatred. Found none of it. No, I said. I don't hate her. I'm just done. There's a difference. Yeah, Nina sounded relieved. There is. Thank you for being kind. Even after everything. Take care, Nina. You too. I finished my run, came home, showered, made breakfast, started my day. No anger, no bitterness, just peace. That was the real victory. Not the public exposure, not the walking away, but this, the quiet morning, the steady heart, the life I'd built from nothing. Spring arrived. 1 year since everything changed. 1 year since I'd walked out of that party and into truth. I was having coffee at the usual place when I saw her. Not Evelyn, someone else. A woman about my age. Dark skin, natural hair, beautiful smile. She was struggling with too many bags, trying to open the door. I got up, held it open. "Thank you," she said. "No problem." She smiled. Warm, real. Our eyes met. Something passed between us. Recognition, maybe. Not of each other, but of something. Possibility. Potential. "I'm Simone," she said. "Marcus. Nice to meet you, Marcus." "You too." She went to order. I went back to my seat. Didn't stare. Didn't scheme. Just acknowledged the moment and let it be. She sat a few tables away. We glanced at each other occasionally. Smiled. Nothing forced. Nothing desperate. When she left, she waved. I waved back. Maybe I'd see her again. Maybe I wouldn't. Either way was okay. That evening, I sat on my apartment steps with Mrs. Davis. "You look happy," she said. "I am." "Good. You deserve it. We all deserve it." She nodded. "That's truth." We watched the street, spring air, birds singing, everything waking up after winter. My phone buzzed. Text from Lena. "Dinner tomorrow?" "Yeah." "Your place or mine?" "Mine. I'm making my famous lasagna, your only lasagna." "Still famous." I smiled. Put my phone away. "You know what the best part is?" I said to Mrs. Davis. "What's that?" "I don't miss her anymore. The person she was. The life we had. I don't miss any of it. Because this, right here, right now, this is better. Because it's real. Yeah, because it's real." Some mornings now, I drive past the old neighborhood. Not often, just sometimes, when the route takes me that way. When I'm curious about ghosts, I see the building where we lived, the penthouse where I tried to be someone I wasn't. It looks the same, tall, expensive, cold. Sometimes I wonder if Evelyn drives past places too. If she remembers what was, if she wishes she'd made different choices. Probably, but that's her journey now, her healing, her truth to find. Mine is here, in this simple apartment, in this honest work, in these real friendships, in mornings where I wake up and don't feel the weight of lies pressing down. I don't know if Evelyn ever understood what she lost. Not the marriage, not me, specifically, but the chance to be real, to be loved for who she actually was, not what she performed. That was the tragedy. Not that she cheated, not that she lied, but that she never gave us the chance to be true. And now it's too late. But maybe that's okay. Maybe some things are supposed to end, supposed to break, supposed to force you into truth whether you're ready or not. I park outside the coffee shop. See Simone inside through the window. She waves. I wave back. Go inside. "Hey," she says. "Hey. You want to sit?" She gestures to her table. "I'm tired of drinking coffee alone." I hesitate. Just a second. Old habits, old fears. Then I remember who I am now. "Yeah," I say. "I'd like that." We sit, we talk, we laugh. Nothing forced, nothing performed. Just two people being honest in a world that doesn't always reward honesty. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. The last time I saw Evelyn was by accident. 6 months after that spring morning, I was picking up supplies downtown, walked out of the hardware store, and there she was, across the street, getting out of a cab. She looked different, hair shorter, clothes simpler. She looked softer somehow, less polished, more human. Our eyes met. She froze. I could see her calculating. Should she wave? Should she approach? Should she pretend she didn't see me? I made it easy, nodded once, kept walking. I didn't look back, didn't need to. That chapter was closed, had been closed for a long time. We were just two people now, two strangers who used to know each other, who used to share a life built on lies. But we weren't those people anymore. She was whoever she was becoming in Portland, working through her damage, finding her truth, learning to live without the Harrington name and all its weight. And I was Marcus, just Marcus, building maintenance supervisor, friend, neighbor, man who'd survived betrayal and came out stronger, Man who knew his worth. That was the real ending. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just two people moving forward, separate, free. Today, I woke up in my apartment, made coffee, sat by the window, watched the city wake up. My phone buzzed. Text from Simone. Good morning? Still on for dinner tonight? Absolutely. Pick you up at 7? Perfect. Can't wait. I smiled, set down my phone, finished my coffee. Later, I'd go to work, fix things, help people, come home, get ready for dinner, live my real life, the one I'd built from truth and time and hard choices. Evelyn was somewhere out there doing the same, starting over, healing, hoping. I hoped she found what she needed. I really did. Not for me, for her. Because everyone deserves a chance at truth, at peace, at becoming who they really are. But that was her journey. Mine was here, and I was finally, completely, peacefully okay with that. Some mornings, she might still drive past places we used to go, might still think about what could have been, might still carry the weight of choices she can't undo. And maybe, in those moments, she sees my ghost, remembers my face, knows what she lost. Not just a husband, not just a marriage, but something bigger, something true, something she'll spend the rest of her life trying to find again. I don't think about her much anymore, but when I do, I remember this. Love that requires hiding is not love. Dignity is the strongest form of revenge, and silence, when chosen, is power. I walked away quiet, let truth speak for itself, refused to give her the closure she wanted or the forgiveness she needed. And that simple act of walking away, hurt her more than any words ever could, because she has to live with it now, every day, forever, while I get to live free. And that's how this story ends, not with fireworks, not with grand gestures, not with her realizing her mistake and begging me back, just with me, moving forward, living true, being enough. Finally, completely enough. The sun rises, the city breathes, life goes on, and I'm okay with that. More than okay. I'm free. The end.